Assalamualaikum, brothers and sisters. I welcome all of you here today in this session about US immigration law. And before we start our session, I would like to pray to God to save lives of our brothers and sisters in Palestine, Syria, and all over the world who are fighting for their survival. We pray to God that these issues will be resolved as soon as possible so everybody will live in peace. And also, I know that many of you're probably a U.S. citizen. U.S. immigration law may not impact you, but sometime, some of our loved one may need help. So I believe all this information will be very helpful to you. First, I'll probably talk about 15-20 minutes about different things, and then if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer. And tomorrow here, I have a one-on-one session, so if anybody wants to talk to me in person on one-on-one basis, I think we'll start at 10 a.m. in the morning in this building, right?
No, 9 a.m. So there will be a sign-up link.
Yeah, this sign up in the presentation here at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So if you want to talk to me in person, one-on-one, please come join with us. And I will stay here as long as it requires. Also, I have published, before we go, I have some housekeeping matters. I have published a book about U.S. immigration law. The book is there. So after this session, there will be like a question answer, I'll do some quiz, and those who will win the quiz will get a copy of the book. And also my business card and our brochure is over there. If you want to take one of those, feel free to take. And a copy of this presentation is over there too. So if you want to keep a copy of this presentation, feel free to take. There's no problem with that. And before we, I know that we are talking in a university, so I believe most of the people here are either a student, faculty member, or someone related to that. So, there's a lot of questions about undocumented population, how they can, avoid ICE and other, other law enforcement agencies. I'm not going to talk about those, but if any of you have questions, please ask me a question. I'll be able to talk about that. I'll try my best to keep my presentation for international students and faculty members so that, most of the people here can get benefits. So, before there are some do's and don'ts. Let me read from here, and also if you have a question, we'll be able to answer. Keep detailed records of any address change and report them to your DSO promptly. So this is a very significant thing. Sometimes we saw that international students, they have no contact with your school DSO. DSO stands for Designated School Official. So in every university in the international office, there is a person, one person or multiple persons, their designation is DSO. So I personally recommend all of you to have a very good relationship with your school DSO. This good relation will definitely going to help you. And check your email promptly, especially any email from international office, because sometimes there are some declarations, some discussions from DSO, and if you do not follow those emails, it will be difficult for you to maintain your status and other things. So having a good relationship with your DSO is a mandatory thing. Especially if you have change of address or anything, those are really important. Renew your passport and visa documents well in advance of your expiration dates. You know that the country you're from, they have embassies in Washington, D.C., of course, and a lot of the embassies, they have a consulate in Los Angeles. I think that is the closest one. But sometime if you contact your country's embassy, they may have some visa renewal or other events in Hawaii. If you invite them, they'll come to your campus and you can do that. But either way, please keep the latest version of your passport, renew it as soon as possible, because it is really helpful in this crucial moment. Seek guidance from your international student office or legal counsel if you are unsure about employment or travel rules. A lot of time, international students, they have difficulty understanding immigration law, and many things, it depends on your school. Sometimes, U.S. government, they will give a guideline, like a broad guideline, and school officials, they kind of interpret in their own way. So, as I said, having a good relationship with your school DS is very important, because sometimes they will make the determination how they are going to implement that law. Let me give you a quick example. So, a lot of you are probably in J1 status. So, some J1 status comes with a 2-year home requirement, meaning after completion of this, you have to go back to your home country, or you have to apply for waiver before you apply for green card. Now, some school will say it's okay, even if you applied for waiver, you can still renew your J1 and they will give you a new J1 visa. after the expiration of your current one, and some school will say, no, since you applied for J1 waiver, we're not going to renew it. So there is no yes or no from US government, but school officials are allowed to make this kind of determination. They have broad discretionary power. That's why I recommend everyone to have a close contact with the school DSO and ask them what they think about these particular things. Ensure your passport is valid for at least 6 months beyond your intended stay. Of course, it's a very good thing to have 6 months validity. Regularly check the expiration date of your visa and I-20. Apply for extension as needed. Many times, I saw that few times, some international students, their I-20 was expired. And they thought, oh, I have a valid visa, so I'm good to stay here. That's not true. So what happens is most of the international students, when they come to America, probably they have 5 years visa, F1 visa. However, once they come to America, their main determining factor is I-20. Let's say if you got admitted to a master's program, your I-20 is for 2 years. Once you graduate, if you go for OPT or something else, you will get a new I-20. If you do not get a new I-20, even if you have 5 years of visa, it is not okay. As the moment your old I-20 is over, and if you do not get a new I-20, you are going to be out of status. So please make sure you have a latest I-20 from your school DSO, and before expiration of your current I-20, if you want to get a renewal one, please contact them. This is very important. Keep copies of all important documents in a secure place. This is another good thing, another very important thing. So, make a copy. So I recommend multiple options. Number one, keep a main copy in a very secured, probably in a plastic bag or something, and put it in a safe place. Also, make a photocopy of all documents and keep in a separate place. So in case, if you lose the main copy, you still have the photocopy version. Or if you lose the photocopy one, you still have the main one. Also, scan all the documents and keep a digital copy in one of your emails. So in case if you lose both of the version, you still have a digital copy. Also, sometime in airports or some other place, embassy officials or immigration officials, they may ask for a copy of a certain document. And of course, we do not carry all those documents with us all the time. So if you have a digital copy, you can show them, hey, this is the copy of my latest I-20 or something else. So this is very important. Keep a digital copy in your email as an attachment so that you can easily find it and show to the official if it is necessary. Now we're going to don'ts. Do not overstay your visa or fall out of status. Always update service if any change occurs in your academic program. So I'm very sure international students, they're very aware about that, but sometimes, out of probably laziness or something, some people, they do mistake. So if there's any chance that your visa is going to expire or your I-20 is going to expire, please apply for some other visa so that you move from F1 visa to something else, or leave this country. If you leave this country with a valid visa, that's okay, you can always come back. But if you go out of a status, once you go out of a status, it is really difficult to come back. So keeping your valid status is really, really important. Now we're going to the next slide. So tips for handling travel and re-entry. Carry essential documents when traveling, like for example, a valid passport, valid visa, I-20, and proof of enrollment. A lot of time we think, oh, I have a visa and I have I-20, I do not need other documents. I always, encourage people, especially when you travel internationally, try to carry all the basic information, and try to carry a plastic bag with all the documents. That is really going to help you. Plan your re-entry into the United States carefully, considering visa processing times and potential delays. A lot of time, let's say you moved from F1 to H1B, and you have a H1B status, but you do not have a H1B visa. So there's two different things. Visa and status is a totally different thing. Let's say you graduated with a degree, you are in OPT, OPT is gone, you apply, like your corporation applied for H1B, you have a H1B status. However, your visa is still F1. You did not go outside of United States since you came here. So, and you are going to your home country to apply for a visa, get a visa stamp. You know that sometimes it takes a couple of weeks or 3 weeks. So you already, book ticket and everything. However, there's a lot of uncertainty in embassies all over the world, like US embassies. So, plan ahead for potential delay so that you are not, upset or something. And delay may happen in embassy anytime in any country. Be prepared for secondary inspection at the port of entry, like airport. Answer questions truthfully and succinctly. So here we have a service. By the way, my main intention here is not to promote our business or anything. My main intention here is to talk about immigration law, so it is going to be helpful for all of you. But sometime, for the sake of just clarification, let me talk about our service. But feel free to contact any immigration attorney for anything. You don't have to contact us for anything. So sometimes some people, they have something bad happens. Let's say you are involved in an accident and police give you a report about hit and run, let's say, and even though you paid the money and everything is gone, all the cases resolved, sometimes still in the port of entry, airport officials may still ask you documents about your hit and run and court documents and other thing. Sometimes some folks, they have domestic violence issues, sometimes husband or wife, they call police and police comes and arrest you or something, something happens. So in this kind of situation, if you feel okay about answering all these questions, that's okay, there's no problem. But sometimes some people, they don't feel okay about answering those questions. So we have a service, it's called Airport Immigration Service. So let's say you are coming to Hawaii from India or Bangladesh or Pakistan on, let's say, March 7th at 3 p.m. Hawaii time. So if you tell us in advance, if you tell us about your potential problem and send a copy of all of your documents, and of course, you have to pay us some money. So we will be prepared. One of our attorneys will be prepared at the time. So when you go through the immigration service, if there's any question that you're not comfortable with answering, you can tell them, hey, I have an attorney, she or he is ready, she or he is going to answer this question. So you'll have a phone number, our attorney will be in line, and if there is any any question that you do not answer, we will answer on behalf of you. We'll have all the documents with us. So the purpose of this service is to make sure that you have a smooth transition, you have a smooth entry to the United States, and especially sometime after 20 hours, 25 hours travel, people do not want to be stressful in this kind of situation. So our target is to make sure that you have a smooth entry in the United States. Before traveling, ensure that you have a valid travel signature from your school DSO. That's another good question, good point to mention here. So a lot of time, let's say you have a valid visa, you have a valid I-20, everything is good. But anytime you leave America, you have to report your school DSO. They will give you a travel document signed that will help you come inside. Sometimes some folks, without this signature from DSO, you can still come inside, there's no problem, but sometimes it's difficult. Some immigration officers may ask questions like, did you tell your school that you're leaving? Especially if it's the middle of the semester. It is really, really important. If you go in the, in the winter break or summer break, that's okay. But if it's in the middle of the semester, it is really important to let your school know, take a travel document and travel I-20, get signed from school DSO. That is going to help you. Now I'm going to talk about NIW. NIW is probably the most important topic for international students and international faculty members. And at this moment, around 70% international students, they get green card through NIW. NIW is a really, really good tool. So, another kind of like my marketing. So I have a YouTube channel. It's called Attorney Raju Mahajan and Associates. I have a lot of videos, like more than 200, 250 videos about different immigration matters. Especially, I have like 25, 30 videos about NIW. And when I make videos about any topic, I try my best to explain everything possible. So if you want to do it yourself, or if you want to enrich your knowledge, you can learn a lot from my YouTube videos. I really try to be as transparent possible, as much I can tell. I tell everything. So I have a lot of videos about NIW, but I am going to talk only few topics today about NIW, so that, and please remember those things, that will be really helpful for you. But if you want to learn more, please go to my YouTube channel, or you can ask me tomorrow or after this session. I'll be able to answer everything. So the most important part for NIW is NI, national interest. NIW stands for National Interest Waiver. So anytime you apply for NIW, you have to come up with a proposed endeavor. And in the proposed endeavor, you have to tell what is your proposed endeavor and how that is going to impact America as a whole, America as a country, not the interest of Hawaii, or not the interest of Honolulu, not even the interest of the West Coast. It is the interest, national interest of the United States. So a lot of time, especially those who do not have PhD or a lot of research, a lot of publication, they have difficulty explaining. Let's say you have a master's degree in computer science, and let's say you're working for a big corporation or medium corporation, you're doing a significant work. If you say that, hey, I am employed in this ABC tech companies and I'm working in this field, my proposed endeavor is going to keep working in this field, then your proposed endeavor is going to benefit the company, probably their customers, probably the city, probably the state, but it's not going to benefit the America as a whole. So my suggestion is, if you have a master's degree and some work experience, try to show yourself as a R&D officer, like research and development officer. Try to come up with a problem, like a big problem in your industry. You can find those problems in Google. You can ask ChatGPT. You can also see some TED talk and read some article from Harvard professors or some other big professors. Try to find a big problem in your industry. Also try to find a solution in that industry. And then you say that my proposed endeavor is to work as a research and development officer. This is a big problem in my industry. I'm going to come up with this solution. So try to come up with either a product or service or some system. And you say that I'm going to come up with this solution with my research, and I'm going to develop a product or service. And this product or service not only going to implemented by my company, but also all other private and public companies in America. And also try to give them like 3 timelines. Number 1 timeline of your research and development. Let's say you say that I need 3 years to do this research and development. I will get some funding from Hawaii government or federal government or some other private sources. And then give them a timeline of how quickly this technology, this product or this service is going to spread all over the America. Let's say you say within first 1 year, 5 companies is going to use my technology. Within 5 years, 200 companies will use my technology, and then next 10 years, 500 companies is going to implement my technology in this industry. And also give them a timeline of the benefit, how America is going to get benefit. So tell them that in the first 1 year, the America as a country is going to get, let's say, $25 million worth of benefits, or let's say they're going to save $25 million worth of savings from their existing system. Next 3 years, 200 million, and then next 10 years, probably $10 billion of benefit is going to, America is going to get benefit. When you write your proposed endeavor, try to use data from reliable source, like New York Times, Washington Post, Los Angeles Times, some congressional hearings, some government data source, so that they know that your claims is not only looks good, but also supported by data. Try to give them like a dollar amount. American government, they love dollar amount. Like if you say them $25 million, $300 million, $5 billion, they like this billion dollar figure. So the more data you incorporate for your proposed endeavor, that is going to benefit you for NIW application. So again, I'm not talking about all these things. I'm just telling the highlights of NIW. So so just 2 very, very important matters is number 1, proposed endeavor. Number 2, national interest. Please remember that. And one very quick question, a lot of time I get, hey, I am not from a STEM background. Is it okay for me to apply for NIW? Of course, folks who are in STEM background, they have some extra advantage because, STEM is equally applicable all over the world. Like, those who are studying biotechnology, physics, chemistry, it is very equally applicable all over the world. However, if you are not from a non-STEM background, that's totally okay. I have clients from sociology background, I have clients from arts and business background, and their NIW case was also approved. But the only challenge is they have to come up with some unique example, unique idea. Like, our brother Arif, he was introducing me. So let me tell you my story. Sorry, I forgot about that. So, I was born and raised in Bangladesh. After my undergrad from Dhaka University, I was working in FM radio station as a producer. And then I thought, let me go to America to get a master's degree in media studies. And my initial plan was to go for PhD in media studies and probably become a faculty member in a university. I would try my best. So my master's thesis was, in my country, there is a book, it's called Thakurmar Juli. It's just a Bengali traditional short story books. So in that book, Thakurmar Juli, there is a 2 characters. Their name is Lal Kamal and Nil Kamal. So my master's thesis was a comparative study between American Batman and Robin and Lal Kamal and Nil Kamal. And initially, it was a very simple comparative study between 2 sets of superheroes. But at the end of the thesis, I come up with a very unique idea that, Batman and Robin and Superman, all those fictional characters are considered as American icon. And my thesis was Batman and Robin's character was very similar to Nilkamal and Lalkamal. And not only that, these are very universal characters. So Batman and Robin characters cannot be American icon. They should be global icon, like a world icon. So I was kind of hitting the very claim, Warner Brothers, they have the copyright. So my conclusion was Warner Brothers cannot be the copyright holder for Batman and Robin. These are global characters. These characters should not be within copyright of any corporation. So that was my master's thesis, and it was widely recognized in my industry in media studies. I presented this thesis in a conference in Orange County, California, and everybody in the hall, there's a lot of people, they clapped and they appraised my thesis. So then I applied for NIW based on my thesis and also publication citation, and my NIW was approved back in 2013. And once I got green card, my professor's husband, he was a retired judge, he kind of advised me to go to law school, and then I went to law school, got my JD, and then I started practicing myself. So the reason I'm telling this story is, even if you're from a non-STEM background, from a sociology, art, business background, that's totally okay. You can still apply for NIW. However, you have to come up with America's national interest. Let me tell you two very short case study, and then I'll go to next slide. So one gentleman, he's a pilot from Nigeria. He came to me online, and he said, hey, I have been pilot in Nigeria for 25 years. I know everything about the entire continent of Africa in terms of flying. I would like to apply for NIW. And I'm like, look, in America, there's a lot of pilots. All the US Air Force folks, when they retire, they go for commercial flying. So it is very difficult to place yourself as a commercial pilot from Nigeria and show America's national interest. We have to come up with some unique idea. And we both kind of did brainstorming, and this is the time when two Boeing plane was crashed in I think one in Indonesia and another other country, and one of the main problem was the training manual for those Boeing planes was not clear enough for foreign pilots. So I said, how about you come up with a proposed endeavor that you are going to modify American plane manufacturer like Boeing and other companies training manual so that foreign pilots, especially from African continent, they will better understand, and there will be less chance of plane getting crashed like this. So America will be able to save planes, and a lot of human lives will be saved by this endeavor. So he come up with that. So do you see the difference? Applying for NIW as a foreign pilot and also applying for NIW as an experienced pilot who can modify American corporations training manual. And that is going to save a lot of human life and also property. So this is the difference when you write a good proposed endeavor for your NIW application. Another case study, one of my very good friends, he's from Nepal. He has had a PhD degree, master's and PhD degree in biotech, and he was living in Los Angeles. He was working in marijuana company. So his research, everything is about marijuana. The problem is marijuana is not federally approved. It is approved in California and some other states, but it's not federally approved product. So you cannot say that, hey, I'm going to develop some product or service about marijuana and it's America's national interest. You cannot say that. So we have a few more minutes, and after that I think I'll go for question answer for the book. I think we have to finish by 6:30, right? No? Rapid 5 minutes, okay. Oh, Maghrib prayer, yeah. So, okay, after this story, I'm going to ask a question. Or, also there's a lot of books, so feel free to take one more. So, my friend, in marijuana, so it was in the middle of the pandemic, and we discovered a research article from Germany. Some German scientists, they claim that marijuana can help, solve COVID problem. And we submitted his NIW based on that he's doing research in marijuana that is going to help, finding some solution for COVID, and his case was approved, and also the pilot's case was approved. So the reason I told this story is because proposed endeavor and America's national interest is very important for NIW application. So next slide, work authorization. Oh, another very important thing. A lot of international students, when they come to America, they want to work outside. So you as an international student, you're only allowed to work 20 hours off campus. Sorry, 20 hours on campus. So you're not allowed to work off campus. But if you have some difficulty in your home country and you really need to work off campus, there is an application, it's called economic hardship-based work authorization. So all you need to establish that after you left your country, once you come to America, something happened in your home country. Like, for example, one of your parents died, or a big cyclone or flood happened, or there's a big political change. So you know that there's a huge political change in Bangladesh in the last 6 months. So let's say if you can claim that your family lost some business or something bad happened because of this political change, so you need to work off campus to make some money to support your family, you can apply for economic hardship based work authorization. Of course, the problem is you have to spend significant time off campus, so that will be bad for your education. So if you think that no, it will not be bad, I can still work off campus, so you can apply for economic hardship based work authorization, you can get it approved, and of course then you can work off campus. But other than that, please do not work off campus, especially in this crucial moment.